Welcome back to the Debrief. I'm here with the Hill's editor-in-chief, Bob Cusack. Great to see you, Bob.
Robby, exciting time. Less than 2 weeks to go. I'm very excited about this midterm.
Yes, very exciting. Let's get into it. The U.S. economy, first of all, appears to be rebounding after 6 months of steady decline. The latest numbers show that GDP grew at an annual rate of 2.6% between July and September. That's up from a decline of 1.6% in the second quarter. So that's some good news, but is this going to matter to voters at this point? I mean, they're already making decisions. Some people are voting.
Yeah. It's, we were talking about as the numbers came out, our staff had to take some time to actually digest it because it's complicated. Is that this is good news. But in the wake of the pandemic, of course, we have an uneven economy. So labor market's good, but you have other economic indicators that are very bad. And 8 in 10 now think we're either in a recession or we're going to be in one. And 2 out of 3 think we're going in the wrong track and think the economy is going in the wrong way. So perception is not good for Democrats right now.
Right. Inflation, food prices, gas prices, et cetera. Is the Republican pitch right now, I mean, it's the Democrats have done everything wrong, can't trust them, put us in charge. Are they putting forth a platform and a policy vision for what they'll do differently to get these prices under control, or is it just no more? You can't trust Democrats to do this anymore?
Well, I don't think you can trust either party, especially in reducing spending. Now, Republicans say they would reduce spending,
but we all know that's a lie.
They don't, and they didn't do it during the Trump administration. He didn't want to touch Medicare or Social Security. Those are tough things to do, but eventually Congress and some president's going to have to do it. So now the Republicans in the House put out Commitment to America. Not a lot of depth there. This was not exactly as detailed as the contract with America, but it is a roadmap for what they're going to do. Certainly, House Republicans are going to be, in all likelihood, they're going to be in the majority. And then Kevin McCarthy, who I think will be the next speaker, will have to forge some type of relationship with Joe Biden. Right now, McCarthy and Biden, there's no relationship there.
Interesting. And then on the Senate side, Rick Scott earlier this year had put forth a plan. Mitch McConnell didn't like that very much, that he actually said what they might do. And now we're at this fascinating moment where it could be 49-51. It could be 50-50 again, or it could be some Republican pickups making McConnell the majority leader again.
Yeah, I think right now with momentum, you'd rather be the Republicans in the Senate than Democrats. And I wouldn't certainly have said that a month or 2 ago. October's been a rough month for Democrats, and you see some of these races like Rubio and Demings in Florida. That used to be close. Rubio is now. Now, there are other races. This is a weird election race. There are other races like Grassley in Iowa. He's surprisingly in a race, in really a red state. So I do think that the economy is why most people are going to be going and voting. And that's why it's good news for Republicans.
Speaking of races that have gotten interesting, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are campaigning for John Fetterman, the Senate candidate in Pennsylvania, the Democrat. They'll spearhead an event in Philadelphia. And it looks like bringing out the big guns means that my takeaway would be the National Democrats are very worried about this seat right now.
They're very concerned. I mean, that was a really rough debate for Fetterman. Oz has all the momentum. Oz was down 13 this summer. He's been closing even before the debate performance. Fetterman's answer on fracking, he did a 180 on it. That's a big issue in Pennsylvania. So I think Oz is going to be talking about that. And the fact that they're bringing in the big guns, as you say, they've got to get the vote out. But at the same time, both Biden and Harris not very popular right now, so it could backfire. Actually.
Right. Karine Jean-Pierre was speaking the other day about Biden's esteem for Fetterman, and it came across as, I think, frankly, unpersuasive after that performance we watched, which was just so painful. And while so many people are just voting for a Republican or a Democrat because we've had very neat partisan sorting, now I have to, if there's anyone out there, probably there are some people still for whom personality and basic competence or basic ability to do a job matters. They are going to have do some rough soul searching if they saw what we saw.
Listen, the health of the candidate's very important. I mean, Bernie Sanders had a heart attack in his last White House run, but he was able to recover and was strong and is still vibrant. Fetterman was not, and that's a big issue. And I do think the independents, after that performance, have to be breaking for Oz. Oz, I think, was on point, had his talking points. On some things may have gone a little bit too far and needling him on being a freeloader and that kind of thing. But overall, Oz has momentum.
Yeah, Democrats are using I think the line he said about, the abortion should be between women, the doctor, and the local politician.
That was not great.
That was not great.
Not great. And that it plays into the Democratic hands. But what do we remember from that debate? Most debates, we watch them, but they don't make a difference usually in these type of races. In presidential, I think they do. But I think that debate made a big difference.
Yeah, and even if we don't know how many people were watching it, and obviously people have already voted, some people, but clips from that are going to be online. They're going to be on Facebook, et cetera, over the next few days. People who didn't necessarily see the debate are going to see the highlight reel, and it was so bad. It was hard to watch. It really was.
It really was, and we wrote this week, Al Weaver wrote basically that Democrats were Monday morning quarterbacking. Should we have even agreed to the debate? Well, on the other hand, you can't hide. And it's only one debate, and I think, okay, let's prep them for that. It didn't go well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the blowback from not doing it at all could have been less than it was just that bad.
It was not good. It was not good.
Well, if you have questions for The Hill, you can now text them to The Hill's editor-in-chief, Bob Cusack. So tell us about this fun little feature. We can just be annoying you all day?
Yes,
right here.
That's right. I will text out my thoughts down the stretch of the election and beyond, and you can respond, and I basically have these one-on-one conversations. So it's not like everyone sees. It's not like Twitter. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a little friendlier. And it's been kind of a fun experiment so far, and you get some thoughtful responses. We talked with the people who have already signed up about the Fetterman-Oz debate, had some interesting insights. So I'm looking forward to keep doing it, especially all the way up into the election, and then the ramifications going into 2024. It'll be fun.
Yes, yeah. Do you think we might not actually know, right? In the next two,
I don't think we will.
Keep talking about it like it's days away, and we're going to find out. But Georgia could be headed to
I think
runoff.
it is headed to
It seems most likely, right? Because if neither candidate it gets to 50%, and they have the Libertarian, one of my people, Libertarian Party is in the mix, could prevent the candidates from getting to 50. And then I don't know how that affects that race. It might depend who's more mobilized, right? Could be based on the national landscape.
That's right. And then, of course, Republicans are nervous about all these bad headlines in Georgia with Herschel Walker. What's next? The good news for Republicans is he's right there. He's within the margin of error. So that race is going to be, I think, going into overtime. So we may not know until Christmas who's going to control the Senate.
How about that? All right. Well, thank you so much, Bob, for that. And we'll see you next week on The Debrief.